Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we are going to review After Dark VR, a game released out on the Steam store January 21st, 2022 by developer Algo Interactive. It released in early access for all the major VR headsets. It normally retails for $15. It's on a release sale 20% off. I bought it at that sale price and I tested it out on the Oculus Quest 2 using link cable. After Dark VR is basically a simplified Dead by Daylight clone. It's an asymmetrical horror survival PvP game. You're either the hunter or the hunted survivor. There can be up to 5 players, 4 survivors and 1 hunter, and there can also be a minimum of 1 hunter and 1 survivor. This is online multiplayer only. There are no bots. There are currently 5 maps with 5 different hunters for each map. I will state that the differences between the hunters is mostly cosmetic. Some will use one-handed weapon versus a two-handed weapon, but that's really the only difference between the different hunters. The survivors are all exactly the same. Like Dead by Daylight, in this game you're looking for the power source, in this case the power supply box, and I believe there's always 4 to power the exit gates, and your goal is to power all the power supply boxes and exit through the exit gate, and I believe there's just a button to open the exit gate. Unlike Dead by Daylight though, you're never looping the killer. In this case you're basically just playing hide and seek. If the killer's nearby, you can hear his heartbeat. That's your cue to turn off any flashlight and then just hide, do the best you can to avoid being detected by the killer. There are some closets and some containers you can hide in, but for the most part you're just looking for any hiding spot available nearby. And as the killer, the power supply boxes are lighted up so you can easily circle through them, and if you hear any noises of the cranks, that's your cue that the survivor is nearby. You're also looking for any light from the flashlights or any movement, and that's your cue to go after the survivor and take them out. Once they're taken out, they go into a cage. Survivors have to look for a key to open the cage to let out the killed survivor. Once you're killed as a survivor, you do turn into a ghost mode, very similar to Phasmophobia. In fact, some of the maps here, the prison map, the police headquarters map, look exactly like the prison map from Phasmophobia. So this game is definitely using assets from the asset store. After Dark VR is running on the Unreal Engine. On my RTX 3080, I was getting a steady 90 frames per second. I did experience several bugs during my 2 hours of gameplay. I decided not to show video of gameplays that were very buggy, so the videos I'm showing is this game at its best, but I did have several issues. The biggest issue that was pretty recurring is losing the ability to grab items and my hands disappearing and not being able to even open doors once that happened. You do have full locomotion and smooth and snap turning available, along with several graphical options. Your microphone is on by default, but sometimes I noticed people had a hard time hearing me, or I had a hard time hearing them. You do have to play this game standing. If you play this game seated, you'll be too low to the ground and you have difficulty grabbing items from your holster. Overall, I just can't recommend this game due to how many bugs I encountered in my almost 2 hours of gameplay. Plus, the player population right now is very limited. I was able to find pickup groups to play with, but sometimes it took quite a while. Sometimes the wait times were 10-15 minutes. Sometimes they were shorter, just depending on the time of day. But it is disappointing that the day after launch there's so few players online. It does not bode well for the future of this game, especially in its current buggy state and its current very simple basic form. So even if you can look past all the technical issues with this game, there's still the very big problem of the current gameplay just being too simple. There's no looping, all the killers behave in the same way, and there's no difference between any of the survivors. Even doing the power box supply is just a matter of just cranking the handle just several times until it turns on. There's not even a mechanic there to make that interesting. So this game does have some of the features of Dead by Daylight, but it's also missing a lot of the the features of Dead by Daylight that make that game interesting to play. There's no perks, there's no looping whatsoever. Even hiding from the killer is really not that interesting because there is a timer, and if you just hide, you're just gonna lose the game because you need to be either working on the power box supply or getting your friends out of the cage, and finding those keys is not exactly fun to do. Depending on the size of the map, they may not be easy to find at all. Plus, there's the problem that the killer can always just face camp the last power box supply, and there's not much survivors can do to stop that. So overall, I just cannot recommend this game in its current state. I know it's in early access, and I wanted to like this game because I would look forward to playing a Dead by Daylight clone in VR because I am a big Dead by Daylight fan. I have hundreds of hours in Dead by Daylight, but this is just not it, not in its current state. It's too buggy, it's too simple, and the player base is almost non-existent after launch. That's not a good sign. So if I have to rate this game, I would give it a 4 out of 10. It is budget priced, but there's just not enough there for me to recommend. Even in early access, it has a lot of work before it would be anything that I could recommend. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. If you enjoyed my video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of the video.